Good morning, this is Karen Spar, Executive Vice President of the Southport-Oak Island Area Chamber of Commerce, and we are here at Faces of Commerce today, located on the beautiful waterfront in Southport at the Southport Museum, Fort Johnston Southport Museum and Visitor Center, right on Bay Street. They are located right there at the old fort, and they're open Monday through Saturday, 9:30 to 4:30, and Sunday 1 to 4. Hello.
Hello. Welcome.
Thank you for having us today here at the Southport Museum and Visitor Center. So you are with the Southport Historical Society, are you not?
We are.
And they look as cute as a button. Look at those outfits. I am so jealous. I need one of those for 4th of July.
Oh, that'd be fun.
That would be fun. Please take us on a tour of this wonderful facility that we have in downtown Southport.
Okay, so this is the Southport Museum and Visitor Center at Fort Johnston. So right in the lobby is our Visitor Center, and we always have wonderful, knowledgeable docents here who are happy to tell everyone that comes in about where to go, what to do, where to eat, and all sorts of exciting things to do in Southport and the surrounding area. So they're here to answer all questions.
Sounds great.
We also have a little store here with t-shirts and hats and postcards and all sorts of really interesting things that help support the museum.
And the proceeds from that does support the museum and the Southport Historical Society?
The Southport Historical Society.
That
exactly.
sounds great. Well, please take us on a tour. I can't wait.
One of our guests' favorite things to see is the movie room. So many cool TV shows and movies have been filmed in Southport, and we were really showcased beautifully in so many of them. And one in particular, Safe Haven, is a real favorite with a lot of our guests here. They really enjoy seeing all the artifacts that we have. We have the bike that she rode in the movie, and we've got lots of neat pictures that were taken by the community during the filming, so it's really an interesting look at the back end of Safe Haven. And we also have exhibits on some of our older films, Crimes of the Heart, and like I said, other TV shows and things like that, but people really love this room.
And there have been so many films and TV shows, everything filmed here in Southport. So
It's very exciting. One of the things I like is that why it shows the movies, it shows where the filming locations were, so it's kind of fun to go back and watch the movies and look for those locations.
That's true. I do it all the time. I'm like, oh, there's Southport.
I know, it's a lot
Or,
of fun.
oh, there's Oak Island.
So this is a timeline that was put together as an exhibit to celebrate Southport's bicentennial in 1992. So it tells the history of Southport from 1792 to 1992, and it also includes things that were going on nationally, so you can see what was going on in Southport and what was going on in the country as a whole. And a lot of interesting pictures too.
I can't wait for the time capsule that we buried back in that, what was it, 2019? What year was it we built?
I don't remember.
I love time capsules. It'll be fun.
It will be fun. I think I'll be dead though, so somebody will have to open it, and maybe I'll come back as a spirit and watch it.
Okay. Do you want to go ahead and go in this way?
Yeah, we'll go this way. So one of the features of the Visitor Center in the museum is the Susie Carson Research Room. And we're open by appointment and always available by phone to let people know if they have questions about history in Southport, maybe the history of if they bought a home here and they want to know the history of their home, we can help them research that. If they want tips on genealogy, or just sometimes we have pictures and books and lots of resources available, and knowledgeable volunteers who are happy to help.
That sounds great. I love quilts. This is a beautiful quilt.
This is a wonderful
Lovely,
quilt.
isn't it? Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, a lot of people come and admire that. When I'm sitting in the office, I always hear them ooh and ah over that. And another thing they love is our butter churn.
Is that a butter churn?
It is a butter churn.
Oh my gosh.
I know, fun, huh?
That is
I
fun.
think it could double as rocking a baby. Put a baby in there.
Yeah, you better strap them on.
Strap him on. You can churn the butter and rock the baby at the same time.
That's funny.
Do you want to tell them about our brand new exhibit?
Yeah, I'll tell you about the brand new exhibit.
Yeah.
We can loop back around
Okay.
to another new exhibit. This is our newest exhibit. It just opened in April. And a lot of people that come to the visitor center and museum nowadays don't realize that people actually used to live here. It was a home for over 70 years. And the family that lived here the longest was the Malacheks. And if you come in here, you can see this exhibit gives people an idea of what it was like to live here when they were here from 1937 to 1951. This desk here actually belonged to Franto Malachek, who was the lightkeeper on the river during that time period. These are some of his logs that he kept, and he worked in his maps. So we have that. We have this digital frame that is actually narrated by his granddaughter, Debbie Malachek, and tells a lot of stories about what happened while they were living here. Not long after they moved here, maybe 3 or 4 months, they had a baby, and so we have some of the baby clothes from their youngest child. We have the boxing gloves from their oldest son, and we have one of the nice things about this exhibit is that it also showcases Lilla Malachek, who was a very strong, independent woman, just like many of the women in Southport have been. And so Lilla, this is a dress that she crocheted herself that we have. This is her secretary that she used. Lilla used to supplement her family's meals by going out and catching fish for dinner and for visitors. She became a champion fisherwoman. She won a lot of tournaments, even against men. She was written up in the newspapers a lot. So we have a fishing pole and a plaque there, one of her awards. Lilla was also the town librarian for a while. The library was here in the visitor center, and so we have some books there representing the library. And Lilla was also the first woman in Brunswick County to serve on the jury.
Oh, wow.
So we have a lot of information about the whole family. Oh, and I can't forget to mention their oldest daughter, their only daughter, was married while they were living here, and she had a reception right on the garrison lawn and invited the whole town. So that must have been a wonderful event to see.
Definitely.
After the Malacheks left in the early 50s, then the military renovated the building, and they made it the living quarters for the commander of Sunny Point. And so the commanders and their families all lived here, usually for 2 to 4 years at a time. And so we have pictures of all of the men who were the commanders of Sunny Point during those times from 1955 to 2012, who they and their families lived in the garrison.
Wow. That's wonderful. I know a lot of those guys.
It's fun to see. People would like to come in and see the faces that they know.
Wow.
And we even have some pictures in the Malachek of some of the students and things, so they might see some pictures in there too of people that were here when the Malacheks were here.
Yeah, they used to love and come and play on the lawn as children, so we've got some cool pictures of that too.
That's awesome.
So if you want to come on back this way, we'll show you our other new exhibit that is the African American History and Culture exhibit.
We had puppy dogs. You got to look at puppy dogs every time you see them.
So the African American History and Culture in Southport exhibit, we're hoping that it's going to be a rotating exhibit. Presently, in its first rendition, it highlights African American education here in Southport, and I called it A Fierce Desire for Education Prevails because it really highlights the intense desire and passion